Through the Ears of Peers. That is my title for today. Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I'm Miss Siti Borhanudin, currently teaching in SMK Simpang 4. I'm better known as Miss Dila Borhanudin. I'm teaching Form 6 in SMK Simpang 4, Penang. I hold a master's degree in TESOL, specifically in teacher education from the University of Manchester, United Kingdom. And that is me. Alright, what is Through the Ears of Peers? Through the Ears of Peers is a technique or lessons that I conduct using audios from students as well as peer feedback. So when students record their audios, we will hear these audios and other students or students themselves will give feedbacks on certain criteria that have been briefed to them. Okay, why I want to investigate this? I am very keen to see how this technique could possibly promote self-reflections as well as collaborative learning. As mentioned by Middleton and Northcliffe, audio holds the potential to evaluate self-reflections as well as facilitate learning through feedbacks. That's why I combined the audio and the feedbacks. As for my methods, my data collections technique were three. One was observation during the lessons. Second is the feedback forms, individual feedback forms that every student has, whereby students will annotate comments, feedbacks by their friends as well as grade their levels. I also did semi-structured interview so that I could invite more valuable information from students and what are their perceptions in these lessons. So this is an example of feedback forms. As you can see, I put grade there for great things that students have achieved during in the audios. TTI means things to improve. I purposely did not choose the word lack or did not choose the word weaknesses, because I don't see this as weaknesses and I don't want students to see this as weaknesses. I want them to see that they have room to be better and they have room for improvement. Students also give marks or rates their friends based on vocabulary, grammar, fluency, communicative achievement, and general knowledge. Bear in mind there are a series of lessons that I did with this. At first, they were quite the ideas was quite vague to them, but when we proceeded with the lessons, it has gotten better. And they are between Form 6 are between 19 to 20 years old, so they are matured enough to analyze their friends' performance. Okay. Next, as for the participants, there were 23 students of 6AK1. There are 6 formers, as I mentioned before. Their age are between 18, 19, and 20. And I randomly selected 5 students to take part in the semi-structured interview. I did not pay any attention to any specificity. I just choose students that pop into my head. Okay, the methods I use for the data analysis, for the interview, observation, as well as the reviews of form, I followed a deductive coding. This is because I don't want my research to be too wide. I know that I wanted to I was interested in two areas, and I wanted to know those I wanted to know the results of those areas only, and because of the time limitations as well, that was the reasons I chose deductive coding. Okay, there were 2 key findings to satisfy my hunger of my thirst for knowledge. The key findings are very substantial. One, this technique enhance self-reflections, and number 2, yes, this technique does promote collaborative learning. As for self-reflections, it can be visibly traced in the feedback forms during the observation as well as the interviews. I still notice how students feel very relaxed when they were interacting with each other. At first they were not, but when we progressed through the series of lessons, they were very relaxed. They know what they are going to say to their friends. Their friends know how to accept or know how to respond to the feedbacks given. And this was also mentioned by one of the students that was interviewed, because she said she had this difficulty of speaking in English in front of people. So when we use techniques such as audios, she felt that she's a bit relaxed because she was not afraid to talk, and she can talk instead of just standing still there. So it creates a sense of relaxation. Number two, I noticed that this one was very I can remember this observation without jotting it down. There was one student who rated himself 0, 0, 0, 0, whereby other students rated himself 3 to 4 in each criteria. When I asked, why do you think that you deserve this 0, 0, 0? He said that because I did not do well. Although I can speak, but I did not do well. Board said this is very common because students or because people often feel that self assessment is done in isolation. However, self-assessment should take into account other assessments as well for you to get the real idea of your current state. So in this case, the student should take into account the peer assessments as well, so that he could have the overall ideas or the better idea of his performance. Apart from that, these lessons were also seen to promote collaborative learning among students. This was clearly seen during the observations and interviews I had with the 5 participants. There is a sense of reciprocity whereby students feel that they have gained from what has been the feedback given by them, and they think that they have helped their friends as well when they give feedback. So this is good because that is a sense of collaborative learning. And as the audio is individually recorded and the feedback is given individually, they feel that there is a sense of personalized feedback given to them, and they benefit from this. So this is an example of extract that I had with my student that shows there's a collaborative learning, there's a reciprocity that happens between students in the classroom during this lesson. Okay, as for conclusions, I would like to say that this technique has able to promote self-reflection among students and among students in the class. Additionally, it also promotes collaborative learnings. Hugh and Cheong said that students are no longer passive receivers. They need to be active in taking charge of their lesson. So I think these lessons have enabled them to be more in charge of their learning by practicing self-reflections as well as collaborating with their peers. However, there are certain limitations of this research. One is the sample size is too small. There are more questions being raised. Although I found answers to my questions, there are more questions to be raised, and therefore it needs more comprehensive studies. However, what I would love to know the most is how these lessons, this series of lessons, have effects on student speaking performance, whether it's directly or indirectly. That demands more studies on this matter. So thank you very much. That is my presentation. Those are my channels, my social media channels. If you have any questions or you would like to share anything, I would love to hear feedback from you. Thank you very much for listening.